Hey, Terra Nova, this past weekend, we talked about something that I just feel is so important pretty much for all of life, but especially right now in this season that we're all in. By the way, if you missed this past weekend, happy Mother's Day to all you moms. If you missed this last weekend, you definitely want to catch up with that on our YouTube channel. You can see all of the past episodes of Bystander, but you'll definitely want to catch this one. We talked about the mind and changing our thoughts. It was actually part two of the third part of the series. It was kind of a to be continued thing in week three, as we're talking about Philippians 4, where Paul writes to a bunch of new believers who are in the middle of just crisis and hardship, and he says to them, rejoice in the Lord always. Like, always choose joy. It's always the better choice. Choose joy. And if you think I'm kidding, let me say it again. Rejoice. Choose joy. You can do that. You can make that choice. Let your gentleness, or as we've been translating it the past couple of weeks, let your reasonableness be evident to all. And by the way, the Lord is near to all who call on his name. So don't be anxious about anything. Again, this is a choice you can make. To not be anxious about anything, but to pray about everything in every situation by prayer and petition with thanksgiving in a context of gratitude. Present your requests to God. Put the pressure on God. And if you will learn to do that, if you will learn that process, that habit, the peace of God that transcends all understanding will guard your hearts and your minds in Christ Jesus. And then he says how. Here's how to do that. Finally, brothers and sisters, whatever's true, whatever's noble, whatever's right, whatever's pure, whatever's lovely, whatever's admirable, if anything is excellent or praiseworthy, think about such things. That's what you feed your mind with. That's what you put your thoughts on. That's how you guide your thoughts, your mind. And so we talked this past weekend a little bit about the brain and how your brain works. And I've said something that I really wanted to unpack, but because of time, I just kind of left it alone. The thoughts actually come from two sources, from our five senses, from outside of us, and then from inside of us, that is from our subconscious mind. Thoughts are bubbling up to the surface all the time. Thoughts that are part of your beliefs, your belief system that is, been formed since your earliest memories in early childhood, since you were a baby. And all of that, all of those memories, all of those ideas, all of those partial memories, those emotions have been packed into your non-conscious mind. But here's the part that's kind of cool that researchers have found, that every thought you have from the outside world that stimulates a thought from your inside world brings that thought to the surface. And in those moments, those subconscious or non-conscious thoughts become conscious. And in those moments, they become pliable. You can actually change them. You can add truth to those old thoughts and old memories and old beliefs before you pack them away again, which is huge. It's such a critical thing to do. And so we talked this past weekend. By the way, if you missed this past weekend, you definitely want to catch it on YouTube because there's so much that we unpack there. But what we talked about this past weekend is how to spar with your thoughts, how to argue with them, how to recognize what's not true. Because listen, you do not need to believe every thought you ever have. I should not believe every thought I have. I shouldn't believe half the thoughts I have. They're lies. So many of them are partially or mostly fictitious. And listen, if anyone lied to you as much as you lie to you, you would never believe another word they say. You'd probably stop listening to them. If anybody talked to you the way you talk to you, you'd probably unfriend them. But we talk to ourselves in such negative ways and such false ways all day long, and we believe ourselves, and we shouldn't. So start arguing with yourself this week. Start bringing truth to bear on those lies before you pack them away again in your memories and they grow stronger. By the way, if you missed this last weekend, catch it on YouTube, on our YouTube channel this week. And you can catch back episodes of Bystander as well. If you missed part 3, you might want to watch them both since they go together. And of course, you won't want to miss this coming weekend, part 5 of our series, SurThrival. It's the series finale to the whole thing. And it's a really important step, something you're not going to want to miss. So listen, the sum total of that is captured by Paul when he says, "The peace of God, which transcends understanding, will guard your hearts and minds in Christ Jesus." And that's what I pray for you this week. Peace. See you this weekend at Terranova Online.